Imagine this scene. A 41-year-old pitcher standing on the mound in a win-or-go-home playoff game, shouting back at his manager, refusing to hand over the baseball, insisting he deserves one more inning to finish the fight. That wasn't arrogance. That was pure competitive fire. That was championship instinct. And there's a very real chance the Toronto Blue Jays are about to bring that exact mentality back to Rogers Center. Welcome, Jays Nation, to Jays Quick News, your destination for sharp Blue Jays insight and serious championship discussion. Today we're unpacking why a potential Max Scherzer reunion isn't about filling innings or selling nostalgia. It could be the final strategic move that separates a true dynasty from a team that flashes once and fades. If you want coverage that goes beyond headlines, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this front office is operating on a level most teams can't match. Multiple respected insiders have reported that Toronto is actively engaged in talks with Scherzer about a return for the 2026 season, and what hasn't been emphasized enough is how quickly those conversations have escalated. The reason is simple. The Blue Jays' depth plan has already been stress-tested before spring training even got underway. Shane Bieber landed on the injured list with forearm fatigue and no clear timetable. Bowden Francis is lost for the year after requiring Tommy John surgery. A rotation that once looked bulletproof suddenly needs reinforcement, and elite organizations don't wait for cracks to become collapses. To understand why this makes sense, you have to revisit Scherzer's 2025 season honestly. On paper, a 5.19 ERA across 17 regular season starts doesn't inspire confidence. But context matters. He pitched through thumb and nerve issues for most of the year and logged only 85 innings. Remove one disastrous outing where he was tagged for 7 runs while barely recording 2 outs, and his ERA over the remaining starts settles into far more respectable territory. Not dominant, but dependable. And October is where the resume truly matters. In the ALCS, facing elimination with the series slipping away, Scherzer delivered nearly 6 innings of 2-run baseball to keep Toronto alive. That was the game where he famously barked at John Schneider when the skipper came to the mound, demanding to stay in. It wasn't about personal pride. It was about refusing to lose. Then came Game 7 of the World Series. At 41 years old, on the biggest stage the franchise had seen in decades, Scherzer gave the Blue Jays over 4 innings of 1-run ball. That performance alone explains why his name is back on the table. Now look at what Toronto is building. The projected rotation already features Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, Jose Berrios, Trey Yesavage, and Cody Ponce. Cease is locked into a massive long-term deal and has been one of the most dominant strikeout pitchers in baseball for years. Gausman is a proven workhorse, reliably pushing close to 200 innings per season. But the most fascinating piece is Yesavage. At just 22 years old, Yesavage rocketed from single-A to the major leagues in a single season and ended up rewriting World Series history. In Game 5 against the Dodgers, he struck out 12 hitters without issuing a walk, mowing down some of the most dangerous MVP-caliber bats in the sport. It was historic, but it also raised an important question. He threw fewer than 100 innings total in 2025. Asking a young arm to suddenly double that workload is risky, no matter how electric the talent. This is where Scherzer fits perfectly. He wouldn't be asked to lead the staff. He wouldn't need to be an ace. He would be a stabilizer. A veteran who can cover innings, absorb pressure, and allow the younger arms to be managed intelligently. Add Eric Lauer, who is also being stretched back into a starter's role after a strong rebound season, and suddenly you're looking at 7 credible starting options. That's not overkill. That's protection. Financially, the move isn't cheap. Toronto is already deep into luxury tax territory, meaning every dollar spent comes with a massive penalty. But elite front offices don't think in raw salary numbers alone. They think in outcomes. One home playoff series can generate tens of millions in revenue. A deep October run can pay for itself many times over. Compared to the cost of scrambling for unproven arms during a pennant race, investing in Scherzer is a form of insurance. And his value goes far beyond innings. Nearly 3,500 career strikeouts. Multiple Cy Young Awards. World Series rings. When a young pitcher inevitably hits fatigue in August, who better to learn from than someone who has mastered survival over a full season at the highest level? That kind of mentorship can't be quantified. Toronto came painfully close in 2025. One game, one extra inning, separated them from a championship. Now they're loading up again, not recklessly, but deliberately. A Scherzer return would send a clear message to the rest of the league. This team isn't satisfied with being close. They're pushing all their chips to the center of the table. The expectation would be a gradual ramp-up, with a debut sometime in late April or May. That's ideal. Let the rotation carry the early load. Keep arms fresh. Then, when October arrives, unleash the competitor who thrives when everything is on the line. So here's the bottom line, Jays Nation. This isn't about sentiment. It's about vision. It's about Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro constructing a roster built to last. If you believe this move puts Toronto over the top, drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Jays Quick News for coverage you won't get anywhere else, and let's talk about bringing a championship back to Toronto.